And we are live. Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm using a new pair of earphones, so please let me know if the sound is any better, any worse, or just the same. If it's worse, then of course I'll go back to my old earphones. India 19646 off 75.2 overs, and Pant and Sundar have really brought India back into commanding position after really it looked like. So we've got this little cricket chat amongst friends, and Matt, who, if you've watched my videos, you'll know, has been on a few times, probably 3 or 4 times, and big England fan. And we went to uni together, and he said if England win this Test match, he'll buy all of us in the chat pizzas. So I was already hoping England would win because I predicted 2-2, but even more so, there's an incentive because pizza's on the line, which is always a great incentive. Let's be honest, who doesn't love pizza? Um, but yeah, I think India have done a fantastic job. These two have done a fantastic job anyway, rebuilding here. They've done a really, really good job in terms of making sure that they can rebuild effectively and actually put India back into a position where really, when Stokes got those two vital wickets of Kohli and Rohit Sharma, you're just thinking like, oh, what's going on? Yeah, bizarre stuff. Very, very bizarre stuff. And yeah, I think 197 for six off. Is that the over gone? No, one ball remaining. Let's see how it goes though. I predicted that. What kind of? Oh, hold on. 18.67. That's interesting. Looking at the bowling averages. Don Best has an average of 35 in this series. Doesn't That's not surprising at all, is it? Not surprising at all. Stokes running in, and yeah, we'll see how it goes with Stokes. I think he's clearly bowled pretty well. Cricket Frost 2.0 says, "Do you think Ben Stokes' shoulder is acting up?" I'm assuming you mean his left shoulder. It does seem to be falling over a little bit, doesn't it? I don't know. If it is, you'd expect them not to bowl him, but I don't know. I think at the moment it does look slightly strange, or it could just be a case of, the more you bowl, the lower your front arm goes. That could be it as well, like as you get more tired. So, but to be honest with you, either way, I think he probably shouldn't be bowling right now. He probably should be done for the rest of the day, I would say anyway. Unless they want like a couple over bursts from him, maybe. But I don't think he's definitely not used to bowling this many overs as of late, anyway. So it's a bit risky. And yeah, anyone listening as well, I'm using a new pair of earphones. So please let me know if the sound is the same, better, or worse. Because if it's worse, then I'll just go back to my old earphones. But I bought a very cheap pair of earphones and thought, oh, they look quite nice. I'll buy them, and maybe the sound will be slightly better. Um, but I have no idea because I cannot tell. So you guys need to let me know. Pan is 55 off 91, and Sundar is 25 off 69 here, with Dom Bess back on. Dom Bess is, as I've said, he's a player that Cricket Frost 2.0's sound is very good. Okay, perfect. That's great. Dom Bess is someone who actually myself and Cricket Frost 2.0, who's in the chat, we both discussed this and said that Dom Bess, I think, needs to probably be playing for England Lions, getting into a position where he can actually learn, go all over the world, play in different conditions, and actually get into a position where he can say, "I'm confident in my bowling. I can bowl consistent lines and lengths. I know how to bowl in different conditions, and I've got, a trick, a bag full of tricks even that I have at my disposal even." So that's what I would do with him. I think they've kind of gone down the Pakistan route slightly, which is where Pakistan potentially pick a younger bowler. And sometimes it's the right decision because they're ready, but sometimes it's a case of actually it's too early for them, and they've got raw talent, but they haven't been able to hone it consistently. And what then happens is they they look at it and think, well, oh, this is way too early. What have we done? And they drop them, and then the youngster loses confidence, and sometimes you never see him again. Even so, I'm sure England will not do that with Tom Best. I think they know that potentially he's got the ability to become a very good spinner, but I think at the moment it's a difficult one. Joe Root, I thought it was John Best bowling. It's Joe Root. He's bowling a lot, but I was thinking he's bowling quite well. And it's Joe Root. Oh, was that nicked? No, I don't think it is nicked. He's getting some turn here, and so India only trail by 8 runs as well. Um, Cricket Frost 2.0 says, sounds like you have a podcast mic. Oh, that's good. I'll keep on using this one then. If it's a podcast mic, that's for sure. I'll keep using this one. And he says, Armour and Naseem are polar opposites. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I kind of don't want to say that, but in a way, yeah, you're right, I think, from what we've seen so far. Although Naseem Shah had a good England series when he came over here. Obviously didn't bowl very well in the South Africa series. It would have been interesting to see how he would have done in the South Africa series, just because it's at home, and that would have been interesting to see. But let's see. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, as I said, India only 8 runs behind. Let me just update the scorecard as well. I'm just having a look and thinking to myself, oh, swipes that over. So Stokes is still bowling. Pant tries to just absolutely cream him through the offside. It's a bit short and wide from Stokes and goes to cut it, but potentially I think it's probably too straight to cut. Gets a bit fortunate and edges it over the slip cordon for 4. It's 201 for 6, and there's a welcome runs, let's say, for India for sure. I was expecting India to get 300 plus. I mean, they're still in position to do that if one of these guys goes big, which Pan is already looking like he. I think for Pan, it's a question of he is actually so attacking that it's going to be interesting to see whether he can last long enough to actually get 100, etc. Let's see though. Let's have a look. And Crick Frost 2.0 says Root bowling a lot better than Best right now. Yeah, hard to disagree. Apparently, the weather there is 38 degrees and 41 degrees is what it feels like though. So clearly, hardly any breeze. And Stokes running in, he looks a bit better there as Lee Dumbs up, but that's a cracking shot from Rishabh Pant, and it's sat up. And obviously, Stokes has been really effective at times with that shorter ball or one a bit straighter that cramps the batsman, or just that back of a length spot that he's been hitting. But at the moment, well, in this delivery anyway, it didn't work. And it sat up for Rishabh Pant. It's a fantastic shot. Really, really, really good shot. And the scores are level. Scores are level. Where is my pizza? Where's my pizza? Come on, Matt. Let's have a look. Oh, Stokes happy. Kicks the ball away. Interesting. Well, happy bunny. Not a happy bunny. Let's see how he does. Oh, Ben Stokes is crack up. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a really, really good shot from Rishabh Pant. Just punching that through the covers, but doesn't actually get all of it. And I think, fortunately for England, it's only a couple. But Rishabh Pant's looking really, really good. He's looking so solid. To be honest, and it's interesting, I think if he's this tired and clearly doesn't look like he's up for it, why do they keep on bowling him? Like, I think he's one of those guys who's just like, oh no, I'll keep going, but then he gets frustrated about it. It's like, I want to get on with it, or I don't think his shoulder is a problem. I think maybe it's a bit of a niggle, but his lead arm is up at the moment, so I don't think it's a huge problem. I could be wrong. It could be a massive problem, but I think at the moment he, yeah, I think he shouldn't really be bowling this much probably. I said that he'd need to, carry some of the load in the last few Test matches, and this one obviously you'll have to because he's only the second seamer in the team. But I mean, if he's not right, which that is a shocker. I mean, that's a beamer from Ben. So that should be a no ball. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it's a no ball from Ben Stokes, and walks back to his spot, and he looks really hot and bothered at the moment. The thing is, it's absolutely like it's baking out there as well, which probably doesn't help. So he's probably thinking to himself, like, I don't need this, man. I don't need this. Sitting here getting absolutely roasted in the Ahmedabad sun, and I can't even. Oh, it's just, yeah. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. Ben Stokes running in. Yeah, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff from Ben Stokes there. But I mean, we've already had 11, yeah, 12 off the over, which is not ideal. Not ideal at all for Ben Stokes to have. And I just think he doesn't look, whether his shoulder's playing up, whether he's just tired. I don't think he's used to bowling this many overs. So he's bowled 19 or over. 19 already, sorry, even. And Leach has bowled 19. So I think that kind of says it all. Like, he probably needs a rest now. Anderson 17. Um, I mean, they've picked such a spin-heavy side. Like, you've got to then back yourself and say, we're going to put Leach on. The issue is that Bess has gone for runs, which I kind of thought might happen, which is why I said, do they maybe potentially go for one of the reserve spinners? But I don't know whether that would have made much of a difference. Root has bowled quite a few overs as well. They're lacking a little bit. I mean, they've really strengthened their batting, which kind of, as Venu alluded to yesterday in the review, it backfired slightly because 205 is definitely well below par as Root carries on. And Cash says, how good is Pant? He's good. He's good. I think the thing about him is, whenever I watch him, he'll come with some cracking shots like he did to Stokes in the last over, and then occasionally he'll slash one like he did in the same over against Stokes, which goes over the slip cord, and you're thinking, oh, it's a bit fortunate there. But a lot of the times, fortune favours the brave, I think, normally, and he's someone who's clearly got a lot of talent. I think with a bat, he's very, very talented, and his keeping can definitely still do with some work. And that's what I said. I think, to be honest, if his keeping was as good as someone like Mohammad Rizwan's at the moment, I reckon he's probably the best Test wicketkeeper batsman out there, Pant. But and again, so he goes to slog sweep goes to slog sweep Root, and he gets very, very fortunate, very, very fortunate, and it loops over the keeper. And you know what? I mean, the intent's there, which is good. I think he's one of those players that it's interesting to see whether he'll be able to play different ways. And to be fair, he did have to kind of stick in there a little bit for this one, but more a case of I'm interested to see if he comes in when India are, I don't know. So he's at 6, isn't he? I think so. If India come in there 50 for 4, which barely ever happens, that's where we'll see how good Rishabh Pant is. As in, like, how we know he's very good, but as in whether he is one of those special players, which it seems to be like he may be, considering the knock again, in the Gabba. That's a fantastic sweep. So isn't at all worried about sweeping after looping that one over the keeper. And this time he just goes, well, you know what, it's okay. We will just, I'll just sweep you again. Yeah, really, really good shot from Rishabh Pant. That time, Root just not quite getting his line right and length, and Pant definitely utilising that little bit of sloppy bowling, you could say, from Root. And that's to be expected. He's a part-time spinner. And Rishabh Pant has a strike rate of 246 while playing the sweep shot against spin in Test matches. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Cash says he's still young. We're learning to come. Highest run score in the series at the moment, beating our predictions. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I said Stokes. If Stokes scores 200, let's have a look at the runs scored. Do ESPN update them live? Probably not. They probably don't update them live, do they? I want to have a look because I want to see whether anyone is able to. Oh, that's a very good delivery from Root. Is that given? Oh, turning. So he's bowling around the wicket to the left-hander of Pant. I think it might be potentially a bit high, but I reckon they should go for it. Yeah, they do. Crypto17 says, Assalamu alaikum, bro. Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much for joining. And while they are going upstairs to have a review for LBW Root against Pant, let me just update the scorecard. Guys, I was just asking before, what do you think of this mic that I'm using? Oh, it's not mic, it's just earphones. Like, does it sound better than what I was using before or worse? Can you let me know? Just because sound-wise, I want to see whether they're good. I bought like a pretty cheap pair of earphones, and yeah, they seem to be okay from what I know. But let's have a look. Root, not really much turn there. It's kind of gone straight on, and it's missing. Okay, missing leg stump, and it would have been clipping. But yeah, good decision from the umpire. Very good decision. Well, let's have a look. Where are my stats, man? Come on. The series. Okay, so Rohit Sharma's on 345, and Cash has just said Rishabh Pant's overtaken Rohit Sharma. Has he? But so Cash is saying he's just gone above Rohit, but this is saying here that Rishabh Pant was on 232 runs, and Rohit Sharma was on 345. So surely he can't have overtaken him, unless these stats are incorrect. I don't know. I'm assuming they're not, but let me know. I mean, Joe Root, I guess, he's on 338. So, I mean, if Stokes gets a double 100, he'll probably be the top run scorer, but that's probably not going to happen. And that was my prediction, which is very left field. But I just thought, you know what, he's got a lot of ability, and I was thinking to myself, he'll get over the Ashwin thing, and he hasn't quite. I mean, he didn't get over it for quite some time in this series, and yeah, like he has got a couple of scores, but no hundreds and nothing that I can say is super special. So he's been a little bit underwhelming with the bat, Stokes, and hasn't bowled too much. And now you can see the value with him bowling, considering he got 2 vital wickets. But the issue here is that normally he'll come on and he is your supplementary bowler, or your bowler that will bowl a few overs, but he's not going to bowl, 25 overs in a day. But with just him and Anderson as the seamers, he's kind of going to have to, and that's what's happened because the pitch is not quite as spin friendly as maybe England thought. And Cash says average, my mistake. Yeah. I think that makes sense. So yeah, run wise, Cash says he's batted less innings. I think he's batted one less, hasn't he? Batted one less innings because Rohit Sharma obviously had that knock where they won by 10 wickets. Well, I think he got it was like 30 odd not out, I think it was, Rohit Sharma. Yeah, his average is above Rohit Sharma's, yeah. Joe Root is on 338 runs and Rohit Sharma 345. Let's see where Ben Stokes is. I want to see if he has any. Surely he has a little bit of sway, I'd hope. England and India. Tests, most runs. India 21746 off 79 overs. Yeah, so Ben Stokes is on 201 runs, so really he needs to score 150 in the next innings, which is probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. I mean, to be honest with you, I have a go at him, but he's still, well, not have a go at him, but I've said it's been underwhelming, but he's still England's second highest run scorer, which, to be honest, isn't really saying much. Everyone else has been really, really poor. I mean, Joe Root has an average of 48 in the series, but apart from that, we've had Ben Stokes got an average of 28. After that, everyone's got averages of pretty much below 20, which is just it's a bit of a shocker to be honest with you. 20 or less, which it just shows that unfortunately England's batting, if they go on and don't win this match and end up losing the series, I think it's a little bit of a great escape to be honest with you, because their batting has really, really let them down. It's let them down substantially, I think, for in this series, to say the least. Let's have a look at the wickets. Let's have a look. Yeah, I saw that one of Gill. Pajara, yeah, Leach bowled really well. I thought he's bowled very, very well. All that one, yeah. Stokes, that one has just risen, put a little bit of his back into that one. And Anderson getting Rahane as well. So I think that someone said it's Anderson's 900th international wicket, which is really, really impressive. And just showing us the 2 wickets that Stokes got, you can tell he's really up for it. If he's not up for it, there's no point bowling him, because he ends up becoming an average bowler. But when he's up for it and his back is up, his tail's up even, and he's running in quick, so he's bowled. It's back on. Why is he back on? See, look at that. Let's see his pace. I bet it's down 130. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great. He's 2 for 46 here. I'm not sure what England are expecting him to do here, because he looks like a broken man at the moment, and he's probably saying to them, "Yeah, I can keep going." But like any reasonable person would look at him and think, "You're clearly not okay to keep going." So, yeah, disappointment on England's faces after that review, I think, says it all, because that would have been a vital wicket to get Rishabh Pant out. He is batting very, very well at the moment. He's starting to take the game away from England, to be honest with you. They lead now. They've got a lead here, and it's just a case of how many more runs they can get, which would be interesting. They lead by 12 runs. England, sorry, even will be hoping that they can clean up India for 260. It's going to be tough. I'm telling you that now. They've still got Ashwin to come in and Axar Patel both combat. So good luck is all I'm saying. Hold on, they've got Axar Patel at 10. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Is that right? That is right, isn't it? They only played one seamer, so they've got Axar Patel at 10, haven't they? What the hell? Axar Patel at 10. Let's have a look. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Look at this. Stokes is on his haunches. He looks completely battered. And they're like, yeah, go on, keep bowling. Go on, mate. Go on. What? Oh, sorry, yeah, no. Axar Patel. Has he already batted? Oh, sorry, Ashwin's already batted. That's why. I thought Ashwin's next. No, he's not. What we're talking about. Ashwin has gone to. Axar Patel is in next. But Axar Patel at 9 is ridiculous. Then Ishant Sharma and Siraj, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Ashwin is out, and Cash says Axar at 9, and then Ishan and Siraj. They've got a ridiculous tail as well. I mean, the tail is arguably better than England's tail, all the lower order, and they've got more bowling. So it's just, I think everything is looking like an India win here, because and look, just having a look at Ben Stokes. Oh my God, he's having a mare. What's going on with Ben? Like, they need to just. He's clearly a moody guy, isn't he? At times, Ben Stokes. He seems like he actually seems like an okay bloke, to be honest with you. I mean, I know he's had his previous misdemeanors, but he seems like an okay guy from what I've seen. Loves his cod, by the way. If anyone follows him on Instagram, him and like Sakib Mahmood and Stuart Broad and Jofra Archer, they're literally like cod fiends. They just play Call of Duty all the time in quarantine, and they've got these little setups. It's very interesting. It's like a box that's got a built-in screen, and it's got your PS4 in it. You just open up and press, and then it's just all set up basically. And you just got your controller in it, and that's it. And you kind of just put it on the table and you can play, which is it's quite cool to be honest with you. I have to say, a really good shot from Sundar there down the ground, just punching Stokes down the ground. Really, really good stuff from him. Washington Sundar's a good bat as well, man. I mean, to have Washington Sundar at 8 and then Axar Patel at 9, I think just to me shows that India have got a really, really good chance here of posting a pretty good lead. That's a really cracking shot from a Washington Sundar. I think actually Stokes will be disappointed. It's just a half volley, but he's leant forward, weight forward, and just punched it with the full face of the bat down the ground. It's a quality shot, and it's textbook on drive by Washington Sundar. Anderson coming back on. That's interesting. And the second new ball is due now. So are they going to take it? That's the question. I reckon if they take it, if they're going to take it, then yeah, you put Anderson on. I don't think you keep Stokes on, I think you give him a rest and you just give it to Leach. And Leach can bowl the new ball because we've seen it before. That's what I would do because clearly he is absolutely battered. They're going to take it straight away, I think. Yeah, they are. England taking the new ball straight away. Is that surprising? I don't think it is. They need something, don't they? The only issue I'd say about this is if they take it now, Anderson is going to have to be on the spot straight away because if he goes for runs in this first over, there's pressure already. And the new ball, just in general, the new ball always, when you hit it, always goes further because it's a lot harder. So it comes into the bat nicer if you are going to end up getting runs off it. So they have to be really on the spot. Obviously, the new ball comes with the conditions and the lacquer on the ball, which means that it'll have more bite off the surface and through the air, etc. So that's why they're taking with Anderson now. They're looking for wickets here, but it's also a risk if they're not on the money. So let's see what Anderson can do. Runs in round the wicket, and that is just what I'm talking about. Rishabh Pant, this is what you call intent. First ball, Anderson goes, okay, come on. I'm just going to put it on a nice line of length, and I'm just going to say, you know what? Let me get into my rhythm. Rishabh Pant goes, I'm going to dance down the track. I'm going to hit you over your head for 4. And that's exactly what he's done. He's turned in his hand. He hasn't got all of it. He hasn't got all of that, Rishabh Pant. He's a bit fortunate. But again, it doesn't matter if he's fortunate because there's a vacant area of mid-off there, which he's just exploited. He's gone straighter down the ground and mid-off is quite wide. When again he goes, and again, that's going to be 4 runs. He's basically playing a T20 knock here now, Rishabh Pant, and Anderson is kind of thinking to himself, I haven't played a T20 in like 10 years, so what am I supposed to be doing here? And that's the issue. Oh, let's have a look. It's not a bad delivery, it's slightly wide, and Rishabh Pant is just, it's all hands. His front foot is basically facing towards the pavilion, or James Anderson, if you want. It's literally straight forward. Straight as an arrow forward, and then Pant just goes, okay, I'm just going to reach out with my bat. And it's not a beautiful looking shot. It doesn't matter. It's 4 runs. He's timed it well enough, and it's gone through the covers and tries to go again. This time hits the fielder. He's not hitting any of these super cleanly, but he's hitting them well enough into gaps. And in a test match, you're not going to have sweepers out. So he's just saying, I'm going to put, and this is, to be honest, this is the right way to do it. And this is what I said about the new ball, is it can go one of 2 ways. And at the moment, it's going the way of India, where India is saying, we're going to put pressure on you straight away. We're not going to let Anderson settle so that he can then bowl, as Cash is saying, 11 maidens. We're going to put pressure on him because he hasn't been bowling. He's clearly going to need 1 or 2 balls. It doesn't matter how good you are. You'll need like 1 or 2 balls to get settled in or adjust. And Pant said, no, that's a cracker from Anderson. That's a real cracker. Just angling in from that round the wicket position. And then he gets it to swing, to pitch, nip away, and a bit quicker from him as well, 132 Ks, and it definitely rises with that new ball, the carries there, if you put your back into it. Let's have a look. That's absolutely cracking delivery. And Rishabh Pant tries to go back to it, realizes it's way too short for him to come forward to, and he's looking to come forward, Rishabh Pant. He's looking to come forward and drive the ball and be aggressive. So Anderson needs to be on his line length. Again, this time Rishabh Pant just knocking into the leg side for a single, and yeah, Anderson is he's thinking to himself, this is not the start that we would want. They need wickets. England badly. Rishabh Pant looks like he's a certain for 100 here, if I'm being honest with you, because the only way he's going to get out is probably by a peach, like similar to what Anderson nearly did there, and where he gets himself out. But at the moment he's not playing too rashly, I would say. Yeah, I mean some of the shots he's played are not particularly orthodox, but he's trying to hit fours rather than sixes, if that makes sense, which does make a difference in your intent because it just means that there's less risk involved. Still risk, but just less than there would be if he's trying to go down the ground or leg side to cow corner, etc., which can eventually just end up being slogs. Really, really good over for India. I mean, they just said, look, you take on the new ball, okay, great, but actually it doesn't make any difference to us. We're just going to say to you, you know what, it's going to be even easier for us to score runs because we're going to get bat on ball, we're going to be aggressive, and with the new ball and the new rock, it's going to go to the boundary even quicker, and that's kind of what's happened in that first over now. If you look at the run rates, the first session was 2.17 run rate, second 3.02, and in this third it's 4.16. So India started to motor here. Rishabh Pant, obviously, as I said, he did dig in a little bit at the start, and the next thing you know, he just started to motor here, and he's really taken advantage of the new ball there with Anderson, and he's just said, "I'm not going to let you settle." And he's put pressure on the batsman on the bowler even straight away. And Anderson is super experienced, but Rishabh Pant doesn't care, and that's kind of that's you need to have to a degree. So Tark says, "Hello, Tark. Thank you very much for joining." Guys listening as well, the sound from myself and these earphones, is it better than before, or is it the same? We know that's an inside edge from Rishabh Pant. So that's why I said, like, I mean, there's going to be an element of luck there, just because he's playing, very aggressively for a test innings anyway. So he's had a couple of fortunate things where he's gone to slash it, he's gone to cut, and it's been an outside edge, and it's looped over the slip corner. He's gone to sweep, and it's looped over the keeper for four. This one, he goes to punch into the covers, and it's inside edge, but he's timed it well enough, so then it's gone for four through that cow corner region. So, but to be honest with you, he's still doing enough to get those runs, if that makes sense. Stokes, I don't understand this Stokes thing because he's obviously clearly being, he just looks absolutely knackered and frustrated. Maybe the new ball will give him some rejuvenated energy, but I don't think so. Cash is slightly better, I would say. Or slightly better. See, look at this. But before 50 runs, his strike rate was 61. Now it's 132. That's kind of what you need to do after he hit 50. And he's realizing that, look, they need runs. They probably need runs quickly for as good a chance as possible to win the game. That's an absolutely cracking shot from Washington Sundar. Off the back foot, punched it through the covers. And Rishabh Pant is that kind of rock and roll player that, yeah, he's going to be exciting. He's going to give chances, but he's going to get runs quickly. Then you have someone like Washington Sundar, who, to be fair, he is he looks a good player. He looks a really good player. Obviously, he's not as attacking as Rishabh Pant, but I would say he looks very, very good. Cash says, sound from Mike. Okay, perfect. Tark says, Rishabh Pant deserves a century since he pantsed Australian Gabba in Sydney. Yeah, I was saying actually that I reckon if his keeping was very good, or even just, I'd say solid good, if that makes sense, then he's probably the best wicketkeeper batsman in the world in Test cricket. But I think just because it's not, then you've got to look at people like BJ Watling and also Mohammad Rizwan as well as being very good because he scored runs probably just as many as Rishabh Pant. It'd be interesting to see actually the comparison. But wicket-keeping wise, he's just a lot better than Rishabh Pant, and obviously the wicket-keeper batsman. But batting wise, ability wise, Rishabh Pant is up there with the best, to be fair. And I think ability wise, Sundar just cut that over backward point for four, and they're really trying to motor here. And yeah, I think he deserves a century here. This has been a good knock. And as I said, like, fortune favours the brave. A lot of the times when you take risks at the right moments, and that's interesting. Last 5 overs is nearly run rate of 10, and clearly Rishabh Pant is someone who's going to take risks. But I think he tries to take calculated risks. Doesn't always come off, but lately it has been for sure. And I think majority of the innings before he hit 50 was pretty good, I thought. And Sundar looks good. I'll tell you what, he looks pretty good here. He looks like a proper batsman. So it's long overdue since Australia. Yeah, yeah. I think he probably deserves 100. He's dug in quite nicely for that. To get to 50 first, he dug in quite nicely, and then since then he's obviously been aggressive. And I think he's kind of thinking to himself, the the reward outweighs the risk here. As in, we want to get runs quickly and have a chance, and he knows they've got Axel Patel next to combat as well. So he's probably thinking now's the time to go. And Washington Sundar's thinking the same, not playing as aggressively and maybe as T20-ish as you think, as maybe Rishabh Pant is, but still being pretty effective. Jimmy231 says Sundar to follow the same career path as Steve Smith? Question mark. Cut out the spin at some stage and end up as a top batsman. Yeah, you know, I was thinking that actually because he scored runs, I think, against Australia, and spin-wise, he has got wickets, but I haven't been super impressed with him as a spinner. I think he's solid. I think he's a solid spinner, but yeah, I wouldn't say that he's a front. I mean, he's an all-rounder, right? So he's never. I don't think he's ever going to be a frontline spinner, but. Oh, that's a very good shot from Rishabh Pant. That's a cracker. He's just gone. He's reverse paddled that over the slip cordon. That's a very interesting shot, but a fantastic shot. Wow. Thing is, I'm just thinking, why didn't he paddle it over towards the leg side? Because no one there. But he's just like, you know what? It doesn't matter if there's a slip cordon there. I can play it and I'll still execute it and get it over. What a shot! And that's what I said about a T20 aspect coming into it, because that's the kind of shot you're going to see in T20s. And having a look at the partnership here, 103 for naught, 103 not out off 146. Rishabh Pant is 63 or 59 in this partnership. So you can see he's starting to really up the ante. And that was a cracking shot. I want to see the replay for that, actually. They're not showing it. I'm sure they'll show it in a second. And yeah, but Jimmy231, to answer your question, I think potentially, let's have a look. Let's show the replay. So he goes very early to switch, and it's not proper switch. It's more like a reverse paddle. He hasn't changed his grip, but he just uses the pace, and it's an absolutely cracking shot. Thing is, you need such good hand to eye and coordination to play that shot, and also just really time it correctly and make sure it's the right ball to play it for. To be honest with you, because if it's a bit shorter, it's wider, you just look silly and get cleaned up. So that was an unbelievable shot from Rishabh Pant. And yeah, in terms of Washington Sundar, I just think potentially he could be that type of player that he ends up becoming a batsman. But India have got a lot of batsmen. They've got a lot of batsmen, haven't they, really, at their disposal. So I think he needs to do something special with the bat to do something like Steve Smith did. And Steve Smith did do something special, which is why he is where he is now. So let's see. I think he looks very, very good, Washington Sundar. I think he actually looks like he could bat in the top 5. So let's see. It's worth keeping an eye on. How old is Washington Sundar, actually? That's a good point. Let me have a look, because that also will have a bearing, because Steve Smith was in the Australia side when he was pretty young, to be fair, and they kind of stuck with him. So he is... Oh, he's young. He's 21. Okay, yeah. Then yeah. I'll tell you what, then yeah, I reckon. So they're just having a look. So if you see the first ball, right, Rishabh Pant showed his intention. The first ball with a new ball even, Anderson running in, and Rishabh Pant just goes, yeah, oh my God, this literally like they've just listened to what I said, new ball carnage. That's my word, carnage. How can they take that? Yeah, but yeah, it is literally new ball carnage. The first ball, he just dances down the track and hits Anderson, over mid-off and just says, I don't care if you come back on. I'm not going to respect you. And straight away that puts pressure on Anderson to think, oh, what? He's going to use his feet, potentially. He's going to try and be aggressive. How do I bowl to make sure I don't? And he pulls away Anderson, but straight to fine leg, who's more like, I would say, he's gone around actually. Okay, fine. Pant is 94 off 114, Sundar 38 off 87. And Craig Frost 2.0 says, what did Pant just do? Yeah, I know. It was an incredible shot. It really was. Cash is calling it now. Anderson to get Pant out in the 90s. I wouldn't be surprised, for honesty. It just happens, doesn't it? So they're having a look here. So he's got out in the 90s 5 times. What the hell? He's only got 200s. Okay, that's interesting. So I think Cash might be right. The statistics would back up Cash here to say that he might get out in the 90s. But the way he's batting, I kind of think he's not going to be. But see, 250s up as well. I mean, England have got to do something here. They've got to do something. They've taken the new ball and it hasn't worked so far anyway. I'm thinking to myself, what are they supposed to do here? They don't really have many options. And, you don't really want to be going to anyone who's a part-time bowler in this period. So they've gone with Anderson. It's not quite paying off at the moment as they thought it would. They're probably thinking, oh, it's great, here's the new ball. Anderson, run in, get us some wickets, and then he just got slapped. And it's like, what? This never happens. It happens like one every million times. So, yeah, and they don't have an Archer in there as well. I don't know, is Archer still recovering from that elbow? Because I know he wasn't 100% in the last match, but that's surely a bit of if he could have played, that's a little bit of a bit. Well, it's not a little bit. It is a big mistake, I would say, from England. Because even on a flat track, even if it was a track like last match, I reckon he can still do something. Or does everyone think I'm crazy? Because he's got the pace to do it. Although his pace was down a little bit, it's been down for this series. The matches he's played, it hasn't been rapid, and kind of makes me think that maybe that's to do with his elbow. So Tark says, "Pants giving me Gabba feels again, deja vu." Yeah, it's true. You know what? Though I want England to win just because I predicted it was going to be 2-2. And I just think as well, I'm going to need to be in a strong position throughout this test match for it to be competitive. Otherwise, if India go on now to get 300 plus, it's going to be really difficult for England batting second. And they could be over at the end of day 3, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Potentially, it really could be. So let's see how it goes. So Dark goes, hearts. Cash says, Arch can't bowl long spells, so less useful if you're packing the spin out. Yeah, it's true. It is. Root's bowled a lot. I reckon they may as well not have played Bess. They don't trust him, so Root may as well just bowled as much as Bess, and then or a couple more overs, and then you just give Archer like 6-7 overs to just say, here we go, just bowl as quickly as you can. But maybe it's his elbow as well. They've got Ollie Stone. Why didn't they bowl? What? Ollie Stone will bowl. Oh, that's a shot, and that's 6, I think. Yep, his 100's up. What 100? And that's why Satak is saying Pant with hearts. That's an incredible knock. The 100's up for Rishabh Pant, and he's looking. Well, he's just carried on his good form, hasn't he? He really has carried on some fantastic form from the Australia series, and as I think Cash said, I think he's the 3rd highest run scorer in this in a series behind Joe Root and Rohit Sharma. So but also got the highest average, I think, in this series, and has batted 1 less innings than both. So he's doing a really, really good job here. And I think it's safe to say that the wicketkeeper batsman spot is definitely filled for the foreseeable future with Rishabh Pant for sure. 100 not out off 115. I saw people saying that. I heard people saying that potentially they should play him and Saha because of keeping wise, or some people are actually saying they should play Saha because of keeping him a subcontinent. And I was just like, but batting's so important for a batsman. As long as he's not dropping like 5 catches a match, as long as he's not dropping loads and loads of catches, which he's not. I mean, yeah, he can improve, but the only way to improve is by playing matches. So, if he's going to get you 100, how can you say, yeah, I'm going to drop him? It's just carnage. And then he won the match for Australia in the Gabba as well. So Tark says that my predictions are spot on. Yes, so Tark is definitely you are a legend, you are, and you're definitely bigging yourself up. I don't even need to call you a legend. You're calling yourself a legend here. My predictions are spot on. 100 off 116. He went from playing a test to playing an ODI. You know what? He went from playing a test to playing a T20 after 50. His strike rate was like 140, I think, from 50 onwards. And then obviously the test, his strike rate was like 60. So we've kind of even out to 101, 117. But yeah, I mean, especially after he hit, I'd say 75, he just went like, you know what? It's T20. And you can see from some of the shots he was playing for sure. And that's probably why he's been picked in the white ball sides now again. And clearly, when he was first picked for India, he was seen as a white ball specialist. But now he's actually made his mark again in the Test arena, which may be surprising to some people potentially. But he's obviously got some type of ability that means that he can play all three formats, I would say. And it'll be interesting to see whether he does or not. And clearly, they've got KL Rahul who plays the shorter formats. But I reckon even as just a batsman, you can play Rishabh Pant in there as a finisher. I would say. I mean, who's a better finisher for India than Rishabh Pant in the shorter formats? Let me know actually what you guys think, because I reckon he's probably number 6 spot. Rishabh Pant in limited overs, that's got to be a spot. KL Rahul will open and he'll keep in T20s. I think in ODIs he bats. KL bats 4, doesn't he? Because Virat Kohli bats 3, or KL Rahul bats 5, and then you've got Rishabh Pant at 6. So let me know what you think. Platat says Pant's getting fit. Did you see his acrobatics yesterday? I didn't actually see his acrobatics. What did he do? What did he do? Did he do a handstand or something? Do you do Ben Stokes where he was doing a handstand and walking, using a walking handstand? Oh man, guys, well on the chat, thank you everyone for joining. Please do remember to like the video, and I think everyone's subscribed in here. But if you haven't, please do subscribe. It really does help. Sometimes I always forget to say it, and it does help for sure. So Tark says a KL for white ball and Rishabh for test. But do you not think you can play KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant in the limited overs? Because they've already picked him in limited overs. So Tark, Rishabh Pant, he's in the squad anyway. So I'm assuming he will play some games against England. And if they're worried a little bit about his keeping, then he doesn't need to keep. He can just be a specialist batsman, can't he? I think he's good enough. I mean, he's definitely got the ability. Whether he pulls it off or not, I don't know. But it looks like he's matured quite a bit since the first stint that he had with India in the shorter formats. I think maybe maturity wasn't quite there, but he's matured, I think, into someone who kind of knows what his role is and also is confident in his own game. He knows the shots he can play, the shots he can't play. And that's when you kind of you end up coming into your own. And so I would have him at 6 in the limited overs, but KL Rahul's not a 6. I think he's a 4 or 5, isn't he? And in the T20s, he opens and they've got him. They've got him. Rishabh Pant has to walk, hits it straight to the fielder at mid wicket. Bizarre. Satak says, I meant for wicketkeeping. I agree. Yeah, gone. I agree as well, Satak. Cash says gone, and he is gone, and he's really frustrated with himself because he's middled that straight to mid wicket. It's a perfect height for Joe Root, and Anderson gets the wicket. And Satak says Anderson got his 900th wicket. Yeah, he did. He did. 900th international wicket, so in all formats. And that is look, I mean, before we go on to the wicket, I mean, that's an absolutely cracking knock from Rishabh Pant. That could potentially be a match-winning knock. It really could be. It really could be. In the first innings, they needed runs. He got them runs. Yeah, I mean, I say he's middled it. He's probably played across the line where he didn't need to, and he's hit that straight to Joe Root at mid wicket. But I don't want to be too critical, because how can you be critical? 101 for 118. It's an absolute blinder of an innings. And yeah, of course, there was an element of a little bit of fortune, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? 100's 100. You can get dropped 5 times for all I care. And if you go on to get 100, and when you look at the stats at the end of the day, it's going to say 100. And I'll tell you what, in the context of this game, this could be a match-winning innings. It really could. England are now going to be thinking, we've got to get Axar Patel. Sundar looks good. He's set. But if we can get Axar Patel out, and then really they'll have a look at the tail, because this isn't the tail now. This is the lower middle order. Axar Patel and Washington Sundar. The tail is Ishant Sharma and Jasprit Bumrah. Bumrah and Sharma are kind of the two. Ishant Sharma are the two that they want to have a look at. So Anderson, he's got another left hand to look at. He's going to have to run in and just go, you know what? Let's clean up Axar Patel. That's what he's going to be thinking. Just like how Rishabh Pant was like, oh, I'm not going to let Anderson settle. Anderson's thinking at the moment, I'm not going to let Axar Patel settle because the game is starting to get away from us. A lead of 54 for India. So Tark says Anderson is the 3rd ever fast bowler to reach 900. Yeah, I mean, he's a special bowler, isn't he, I think? And there'll always be debates about who's better, who's the best fast bowlers ever. And, you know, some bowlers played a lot longer than others. So it's difficult to just base it, I think, just on stats. But in terms of longevity, he's definitely up there, if not the best, in terms of his longevity for sure, and his consistency over a number of years. So Tark says, I'm happy I wanted Pant to get a century and I wanted Hassan to get his 900. So Tark, who are you supporting? You must be supporting India though, right? In general. I know you just say that you want competitive cricket to watch, but do you actually specifically support someone? I'm assuming it's India, but let me know if I'm wrong. So he actually toe edges that. He hits the toe of the bat there, but he hit it so hard with quick hands that it looked like he middled it almost to a degree. And it's a good grab from Joe Root, but it's pretty much straight at him. And Rishabh Pant looks a very, very special player. You can't say that it's been a. You can't say now that that Gabba knock was a fluke because he's done it now multiple times in that Australia series and in this one as well. Kakal Vlog says Hassan Ali come back. Oh, there's definitely Pakistan Cricket Live news. Come on, buddy, be relevant. And Axel Patel is in, and just looking at his Test career, only 12 runs, but I know that he can bat because we've seen him his first class stats, and he clearly can bat. The wickets that they were playing on previously are tough for someone coming in for your first couple of Test matches. So I think it helped him slightly, obviously, with the ball, but with the bat, it wouldn't have helped. And he showed though that he can definitely bowl on a surface that isn't super friendly. This was still pretty friendly for spinners, but it's not. I wouldn't say super friendly, especially in that first day. And he still produced the goods. So Axar Patel looks damn good. What is this when they just zoom into the trophy and they're like, and they've got all these sparkling lights around it, and they're like, oh, it's like mesmerizing. I'm like, yeah, the trophy looks good, but is there any need for the graphics? I'm just like, it's bizarre. And they just zoom into it. It's like, when you have like a Bollywood movie and they just zoom into like the woman or the man and they're dancing, and it's just kind of to show how like good looking they are. That's what they're doing, but they're doing it with a trophy. With a trophy. Like, why are they doing that? It's just a trophy, the trophy. It looks good, yeah, but oh, what a cracking shot from Washington Sundar. This is what I mean, man. It's just class. That's absolute class. It's just so Anderson trying to obviously get that nick from Washington Sundar, and he just doesn't quite get the line correct, and Sundar just goes back and across. Let's have a look. Yeah, no foot movement needed really. He just kind of rocks onto the back foot and just says full face of the bat and goes wide of mid off, between mid off and cover, and it just crunches to the boundary. I mean, fantastic shot, really good shot. Fassart says, I have a few favourite players in the England squad: Root, Anderson, Stokes, and Jofra, and Crawley. Okay, that's quite a few. So I'm always excited when these players get going. Okay, but you're an Indian fan, right? You're an Indian fan who clearly loves cricket, but you must be. It's like me. I'm a Pakistan fan, but I just love cricket. So, um, if Pakistan lose, I'm not happy about it. But if I've seen some fantastic cricket, then it's kind of hard to be so upset about it. That makes sense. But yeah, let me know. Let me know, Satak. And 264 for 7. Let me update the scorecard as well. That was good over from Anderson. Apart from, I say it's a good over. Apart from that 4, right? And I've been watching too many T20s because that would have been a good over in T20s, but it's probably not a good over in Test matches, especially as they had a new batsman to look at and they're expecting wickets now here in England. Just having a look at the scorecard, Rohit Sharma obviously fell one short of 50 on 49 off 144. Not the kind of attacking innings you're normally used to seeing Rohit Sharma. I think he got stuck a little bit at the crease, and Stokes definitely did make sure he was stuck at the crease, trucking the LBW. And Rishabh Pant 101 of 118. We've gone over how amazing. And this is such a good knock, seriously. It really is. Rahane 27 of 45. Anderson getting him really good bowling. And Anderson has proved that there is something there for the seamers. And interesting, we had Stokes open the bowling, and I wonder whether England will think if they go on to lose this match, which I'd say India, I'd say at the moment it's probably, we're looking at 65-35, India, England in terms of win predictor, as well, I would say. So Tart says, yeah, I'm an Indian fan who loves good cricket. Yeah, it's good to hear. Good to hear. Joe Root back on, so that's interesting. I like it. Thing is, they've got 2 left-handers to look at here, and he's got a new one. Oh, see this, but you can't. This is the problem with having Joe Root bowling, is that yeah, he will come up with some really good deliveries, but he'll come up with that, which is just trash. It's just rubbish. It's a long hop, and the issue is that you think, oh, just go to Best, right? Because he's a proper spinner, but he does exactly the same thing, if not more often. And this is the first one I've seen from Joe. I've seen quite a few from Don Best, and it's a long hop. As an off spinner, right, you should have more control than a leg spinner because it's a lot easier to bowl finger spin accurately than wrist spin. But Don Best seems to struggle with it massively. And Jack Lee, where's Jack Leach? Get him back on. But I guess they want the off spinner because it's turning away from the two left-handers. But it's not working so far. They need a wicket here really badly. England, they need another one. If the lead goes beyond 100, then I think it's looking like India are going to dominate the rest of the Test match. I would say because I can't. It's going to be really difficult. I can't really see the openers getting too many runs. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, it's just going to be really, really difficult. I think for England if they don't help themselves out here, England, and pick up a few more wickets and restrict them to maybe below 100, which is I think is pretty ambitious. Then England are going to be looking. Thing is, as soon as you concede a lead of 100 or more, it's going to be damn hard. There's a lot of pressure on them. The batting unit's already been battered. So let's see. Qatar says, don't be so negative. England's got one more innings with 9 batsmen and 3 days to go. Anything can happen. Yeah, anything can happen. I agree with you, Shatak. I just think, I was looking at stats, and the stats aren't everything. But, you look down the line and of top run scorers, and Joe Root, yeah, he's played well, but that double 100 has really helped, really, to be fair. And he's got an average of like 43. He's the second highest run scorer, right? And then apart from that, you've got Ben Stokes. But his average, if you look at it, is 28. And then after that, every single England batsman has got an average of 20 or less, which makes me think, well, no, it doesn't make me think. I know for a fact that their batting, if they lose this Test series, it will be down to the batting. Yes, you can talk about, Don Best played a couple of matches in bowl well or whatever else, but really, I think the batting has been the thing to let them down the most. It really has let them down. It's not as solid, and I understand that there's inexperienced players in there. There's some players who've never played in India before. Dom Sibley, Dan Lawrence, Ollie Pope, Rory Burns, Zach Crawley. That these guys haven't played for England in India before, so it's a new experience. But you've got to adjust, and the best players will adjust after. I mean, they've had 3 matches to adjust, right? So let's see. Let's see how it goes. I think Stokes is back on, so I don't know what they're doing here. They're just trying to get a wicket from anyone. They're rotating the bowlers, seeing who can do it. It's 268 for 7 off 86 overs. But yeah, I think so. Like, I'm not being. I'm trying. I'm actually being. I feel like I'm being realistic. And as I said, I'm more of a neutral. Yeah, I want England to win because I predicted it was going to be 2-2, and I think it will be interesting to see. They're the underdog from definitely. So it's always good to see the underdog win as well. Sundar with a cracking. I mean, that's just beautiful off the back foot, and just punch that through just between point and cover. And Sadak says, I feel bad for Bess. I wanted him to do good today, but his full toss balls are difficult to watch, even as a spectator. So, Tak, I said this, and I don't know if you're in the chat when I said this, but I've said this, and I think I should from Cricket Frost 2.0 as well, has very similar thinking. And I said to him, and I said it to our chat, we've got a cricket chat, and I said, look, he needs to go. He's done, that's another cracking shot. It's 50, he's up. That's a really good shot. Just running it down. That'll be 50. It doesn't matter if it's not even a boundary. I think it's 2 at least. His 50's up for Washington Sundar, and that is a classy knock. That's a real classy knock from Washington Sundar. He's batted so well, seriously. Yeah, not as quickly as Rishabh Pant, but doesn't matter. I mean, this is Test cricket, and I'll tell you what, if you want to go and look at highlights of someone hitting some fantastic strokes, then Google Washington Sundar. Yeah, he saved that, I think. Don Best, good fielding, but still 50 up. Look, I'm going to be really honest, Sabtaka. Sorry, just cut myself off because Washington Sundar hit 50, but Don Best, he was picked when he was like 21. He's 23 now. He's only 23. He should have been playing England Lions for a long period of time, for a number of years, maybe 2, 3 years, and then honed his skills, right? Gone around the world playing for England Lions, and then as soon as he's got into a position where he's confident in his own bowling, he's got a toolkit at his disposal of different deliveries, and he's got an understanding of how to bowl in different conditions around the world, and he's not just one dimensional. Then he can come into the England side. He's got the. I'm telling you now, I think he's got the ability. I don't think. I don't. It's not a case of like his ceiling is too low. I think he's got a very high ability ceiling properly. And he's clearly got a little bit of that confidence, but confidence isn't enough when the ability is not there. And unfortunately, his skill level's not quite there at the moment. And those types of margins at the elite level make a massive difference. And they've kind of done a little bit what Pakistan have done to a degree at times, which is pick a bowler his raw talent looks really good, and I just chucked him in the international arena and said, "Go on, you can do it for us," and try and learn on the job. And there's only a handful of players that can do that. Sometimes it pays off, like we've seen with Pakistan. Sometimes it doesn't, as we've seen with Pakistan as well. And we're seeing here with Don Best that it hasn't paid off, and that's why they dropped him. And they wouldn't have played him if Moeen Ali was still here. And honestly, from an honest perspective, I think if England had better spinners at their disposal, like he wouldn't have even gotten to the team at all. And I think they're a bit fascinated by his batting as well, which, to be honest, I think after this Test series, they'll probably go away from that a little bit and think we've got to be realistic. He's a spinner who can bat a little bit, but he needs to work on his bowling. So they'll be looking to say we need to just go and say to him, go away, work on your game, and then you can come back for us. But at the moment, it's probably a little bit too early, and they've got to have a really hard line with Don Best, I think, and just say that, because they've got Leach, who's bowled and improved a lot, so he's going to be their frontline spinner probably. And then they've also got Moeen Ali if they want to use him, who's got batting as well. So those two are going to be vying for that spinner spot, and Don Best is not going to be in the equation. Don Best was before the Sri Lanka series. He would have probably been the guy that they would have looked to as their first spinner, but I think it was wrongly so anyway, because Jack Leach and Moeen Ali were already bowling better than him. But as I said, they were fascinated by Don Best being young, and he's got batting and he can learn the job and he'll do a good job. And I'm like, that's all well and good, but you need someone to perform now. And Don Best is someone for the future. He's not someone for now, in my opinion. And Cash says, and just while I go on to this comment, let me just update the scoreboard. It's 276 for 7, and that's thanks to a fantastic 100 by Rishabh Pant, and also a really, really accomplished 50 and knock by Washington Sundar. Really, really good knocks from both. India now 71 runs ahead, and they're doing a fantastic job here to, at one point, it looked like they may get bowled out for under 250, but they pushed beyond that 250 mark and they're looking towards the 300 mark, which I kind of thought before the innings had started, or before the day started, that that's what they would get. And it looks like it's going to be the case. 276 for 7. Cash says, sorry to bring up old news, but Moeen would be useful this test. Yeah, of course he would. No, don't worry. He would be useful in this test. And yeah, I don't know. The issue is that it's unfortunately Moeen Ali in England is a relationship of convenience for England. I think is probably the right way of putting it. And they had that pre-agreed day. I'm glad I got Jack Leach back on. That's a good decision for me. I'm glad when they brought him back on. But yeah, they had that pre-arranged day, and then they made a big deal about it. And obviously, Butler, Wokes, Bairstow all had a similar thing. Sam Curran, but there was a big deal made about it, and it's because I think part of it, and there's other factors which I'm not going to talk about because I've talked about it a lot before. But I think if we look at it from a purely a purely cricketing point of view, England don't have, Leach has improved a lot, but they don't have elite spinners like your Ashwins. Akshar Patel came in, and I think England would say they'd play him instead of any of their spinners. And that's kind of the difference in golf of class at the moment, I think, between the two teams in the spin department. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, and that's why I think there's even more of an emphasis put on it. But if I'm just looking at it from a purely cricketing point of view, rather than a kind of political management point of view as well. But yeah, I think if it's agreed, it's agreed. So England have only got themselves to blame. They, unfortunately, they don't seem to maybe treat Moeen Ali as well as they should, and it's probably biting them in the butt at the moment a little bit. So Tark says him being 23 has many more years to play. He'll get better. Yeah, I agree 100%. That's what I'm saying. He's young, isn't he? So, and normally when you have guys who are 20, even at the moment when he's 23, when he was 21, he should have been doing it. Yeah, I mean, and England Lions, so Tark is like your in India A team. So it's not even domestic cricket. Go and play for your second string international side. Like a lot of who was it? Shubman Gill played for India A, didn't he? And Rishabh Pant did as well. And they scored runs against Australia before the series started, and that's why they got picked. I think it was, or was it an inter game? Was it an inter team game? I think it was India A versus Australia. But yeah, they played well. And that's why they got picked. And it's similar, like with Don Best as well. To bowl in these types of conditions, you need to have experience, and he hasn't had that experience going to India and playing for England Lions against India A, or even just playing against other, Indian domestic teams, and that's what England Lions will do. So that's really what he should be doing at the moment, and he will do it, I'm sure. And he probably won't need as much time with England Lions now because he has had some international experience, but he will need. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on his bowling, and he will definitely get better. And as I said, I think he will be long term. I think he will be an option for England, and he might become a very, very good bowler because he's got the ability and potential to do so. But at the moment, it's just too early. And as you're saying and alluding to, 23 is very young still. So he's still got a lot of years and experience to get to a level where actually he is pushing towards being, a very good world class or elite bowler. So. And he's just nowhere near that at the moment, I think, his issue. He's a very average bowler who Joe Root wants to bowl. Joe Root wants to bowl more overs than him, which kind of makes you realise where he's at. And talking of Don Best, he's back on to have a bowl. And India lead by 71 runs. It's 276 for 7. Axar Patel 6 off 18, and Washington Sundar 51 off 98. So he's still in and looking good as well, going in a strike rate of just above 50. Well, that's the full toss again. This is what I mean. Like, you can't be bowling full. That's a rank full toss. That's a rank full toss. Patel says, look, there was a point England had Panesar and Swan. I imagine Leach and Best be that duo. I think time will tell. Yeah, but so that's my point. Panesar and Swan, when they came to India and won, they'd already had that experience under their belts, and neither of them were 23. They were both in their mid 20s or late 20s or even 30s. So they had that experience, and yeah, time will tell. I think like Best will, but also they didn't play for England when they were 23 or 21 even. They weren't super young when they started. And if they did, they were at a very good ability level. He's not at that skill level yet. I think he has the ability to do it, but this is a different kettle of fish. Monty Panesar as well is a lot better than Leach is at the moment. He was a lot better. And Graham Swan is about 10 times the player that Don Best is. Even when he started for England, yeah, he wasn't great. But he was at least twice the player that Don Best is at the moment. I'm just being honest with you. And that's to do with age as well and experience. And that's literally what it is. And the issue is that Don Best playing for England at the moment and bowling full tosses and getting hit for 4, 5 and over in test matches and not picking up wickets now. It was fine before when he was getting fortunate and picking up wickets, but now that kind of fortunate run has come to an end, it's going to be very difficult because his confidence will get shattered. You don't want his confidence to get shattered as a youngster, and then potentially he won't be able to come back from it. That's another full toss. It's another full toss, and he's got away with it, right? So this is what I mean. Like 2 full tosses in and over. The first one was a shocker, and that one is it's another low full toss that really he's got away with it. He's lucky he hasn't gone to run. So this is what I mean. The consistency and maybe the confidence isn't there. They don't want to keep on playing him so that his confidence gets battered because that's what will happen. That's what will happen. And he just looks like a player that needs a pick me up, and he needs to go back and work on his game domestically and also for England Lions, and then he'll come back better. I have no doubt about that at all. But it's not nice to see players get like he's young, so there's no need for him to be in there getting battered about. And the reason why I'm quite opinionated on it is because Pakistan have had a very similar thing with a lot of players, and you just think, what's the point of them playing if they're going to get battered and hit around the park consistently every game? And when they do pick up wickets, it's pretty fortunate. So it's not like they've actually bowled well to pick up wickets. It's just, there's a lot of element of fortune or luck there. Then that shouldn't be rewarded. That should be saying, well, actually, okay, you have picked up some wickets, but when we actually look into it, you haven't picked up wickets out of skill, really. And that's what England need to be doing at the moment, is just saying, like, they clearly dropped him for a reason, because they thought that he needs to go back and work on his game. They were hoping that Moeen Ali would just say, oh, yeah, it's fine. I'll just push back my my day to go back, even though he's going to come back for the white ball series. And that didn't happen, and now they had to play him. And again, like, it's just not paying off. He may get wickets in the second innings. He may get wickets now. Who knows? But even if he was to get a fifer in the second innings, and look, see, Joe Root is talking to Don Bess, he's putting his hand on his back. You can tell Don Bess is completely, like, he's gone. He's gone. He doesn't even want to listen to Joe Root. He's just like, oh, yeah, okay. He's fed up. And Joe Root's bowling more overs than him. I think says, oh, Jack Leach is on here. You can tell the difference. Jack Leach is putting revs on the ball. He's not afraid to give it flight. And he's fluid in his action, and also the way he's following through. Don Bess isn't doing that because he's scared he's going to get hit. And that's the difference, I think, between the two at the moment. Before, they were both getting similar amount of wickets, but you could, even then, I said in the Sri Lanka series, I said Don Bess is not bowling well. I said the Sri Lankan batsmen are gifting him wickets, and they were like hitting long hops straight to point, and I was like, what's going on? Like, this is terrible batting. Jack Leach was getting some pretty decent wickets. Jack Leach has now improved more. Don Bess has stayed the same, and the golfing class is now there for everyone to see, unfortunately. And the stats now reflect it, and kind of rightly so to a degree. So, yeah, that's my rant on the spinners. But yeah, Don Bess, I have nothing against him. I think he's very talented. It's just too early for him, in my opinion, anyway. But let's see. I'm assuming he will go back and play in the Lions, and then he'll work on his game. India are 282 for 7, and they lead by 77 runs. Axar Patel is 6 of 20, Sundar 57 of 104. So Tata says, you know what? Bess is basically Kuldeep for England. What is the point of having them there? Because their confidence will get shattered. Exactly. 100%. Kuldeep Yadav's actually, he's older than Don Bess as well, isn't he? So, I mean, Don Bess is even more a scenario that he shouldn't be there. But yeah, 100% agree. There's no point having them there. Basically, there to fill up the numbers. That's kind of what they are there for, unfortunately. 282 for 7, and Jack Leach gets a ball to turn pretty square, and it's 4 byes. Even Ben Folkes isn't going to be able to stop that one. So Tart says, even Kuldeep was in the squad for 2 years and he played 1 match in the series. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit different because in and around the squad, it's still not great for your confidence, is it? But Don Bess has been playing. He just hasn't been playing very well. When you consistently play poorly, then you end up thinking that, oh, this is okay, because you get rewarded because he keeps getting picked, right? So if you keep on getting picked after bowling poorly, you just think, this is okay for me to bowl like this, and you don't actually work on your game like you should be. If you get dropped or you get a word saying you need to work on this, then you're forced to do it. That's a good shot from Axar Patel, just hits that into the leg side and hits it with the spin. And it's 290 for 7 off 90 overs, and that was a good over from Leach until that last delivery, and good batting from Axar Patel. That one loose ball, which was half volley length, and he picked up on it. It's a good pickup shot, and showing that he can give the bat a good swing. And it goes in a couple of bounces towards that mid-wicket boundary. So 290 for 7 off 90 overs. I wonder how many overs left. There should be maybe 5 overs left. They normally say it. Let's have a look. They do. Sundar, though, 57 off 104 as well. Don Bess still bowling. Okay, let's see. Maybe he'll bowl a ripper through the gate. But the thing is, even if he does, I think it's just it's one of those things. So Dark says, what do you think about Stokes? He has to. I think he means he'll be vital with the bat, as in to get runs. I think. Yeah, I agree. he was actually very left field choice for me. But I said before the series he was my pick to get the most runs, which is crazy, right? When you now see how the it was also a pretty random choice, but I just thought I know that he's had issues with Ashwin in the past, but I just thought great players they get over those issues, and he looks like he may have got over them, but probably too late to become the leading run scorer. Unless he scores, I think if he scores like 150 plus in the second innings, then he might be able to get the leading run scorer, which I think is very unlikely in a second innings in a subcontinent. But you never know. Yeah, I think he's vital. He needs to get at least. I mean, I think if he gets 100, then he's in a good spot. If Stokes gets 100 in the second innings, the openers I don't have too much hope for. Zach Crawley is a very talented player, so I think he could potentially get run. Sibley, the way he got out in the first innings makes me think his confidence is low and he's not going to get any runs in the second innings. I could be wrong. Also, it's all circumstantial because if Sibley gets a half volley first up and then drives it through the covers for four, that lifts your confidence straight away. So it all depends as well, like on the scenario of the match and also the type of bowling that comes their way. But from what we've seen from India, they've been very good. So realistically, I think Sibley is going to struggle to get more than 10, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Crawley has the ability to get more and get some runs, but he's aggressive, and that's not a bad way to play. But you need to have calculated aggression. He played a shot over, trying to hit down the ground off the spinner when he was on 9. That's probably not the right time to do it. But we'll see. We'll see. And then after that, obviously, you've got number 3 and Johnny Bairstow. Don't really have much hope for Johnny Bairstow getting runs, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And then you've got Joe Root, who Satak is saying here, even Root will have to be the anchor in the innings when Ashwin and Axar will come on to bowl. Yeah, so Root has been disappointing since that double 100. And I said disappointing, but you can't expect him to get big runs every single match. And he obviously performed so well in the Sri Lanka series. And he's already equaled like his highest number of hundreds in a year so far, because his highest was 3 before, and he's already hit 3. 2 of those are double hundreds. So the dude is just yeah, the dude is just crazy in terms of his ability so far. But yeah, really good stuff from him, and let's see what he can do though going forward, because I think in this innings or the second innings he's going to have to, as some target saying, he's going to have to be an anchor really and have people like Stokes, Pope, and Lawrence play around him. That's what he'll need to do. Sibley really is the player that they've got in there to be that anchor, but he hasn't been staying in long enough for them to do it. So I would say 100% Roots, and then if Stokes can make sure that he can stay in long enough, he'll score runs, I think. So a lot hinges on Root Stokes. Lawrence scored some runs as well, to be fair. Ollie Pope looked quite good whilst he was in. I think those 4 and Crawley, I would say. I don't have high hopes for Sibley or Bairstow. Could be wrong. You never know. And then really Ben Folkes has looked. He's actually normally a pretty good player of spin, and he's shown it in the past. So I'm hoping he can come quite good and get some runs. That would be good to see. And after that, there's not really anything. Best, I don't expect anything from him, and Leach as well, and Anderson, I don't either. Any runs from them was a bonus, I think. So if they're training by, let's say, 100 runs, which is again ambitious, then I think you need each of those to get. I think you each get 40. So if you have Stokes, Root, Pope, Lawrence, and let's say Folkes, let's say 5 of whatever the lineup get 40, or that's 200. That's only a lead of 100. They need others to chip in with say 20s, and let's say or 15s. Let's say so 15. Well, that's 6 players chipping with 15. That's 90. So 290. Okay, a lead of 190. They've got a chance there. It's gonna be difficult, but they have a chance. And really good stuff. Really good stuff. Really. 59 for 7 and 91.4 overs gone here. Sundar looking damn good. So look. So Tark says Sibley looks a bit weird while batting. He just doesn't look good on the crease when you compare him to Root, Crawley, and Pope. That's what I've observed. To be honest with you, he's unorthodox, similar to your Fawad Alams and your Chandler Pauls and others. He's got a very high back lift, just very wide, pointing towards third man. The one thing I'd say to Tark is it actually has the way he's batted in the past before this subcontinent leg, which was Sri Lanka, which to be fair, he scored some runs in Sri Lanka. He scored some runs in the first Test match against India as well. He's been very effective actually, and it does work for him. I think for him, his defense has become quite weak during this series, and maybe it was already weak, but it's just been exploited now by the spinners of India. But I think a lot of the England players have shown a real weakness to spin, and it's difficult, right? Because you'd think they would adapt quite quickly, but facing swing and seam conditions as an opener is very tough in England, and that's why someone like Sibley actually performed very well in the summer and got runs, and you're thinking, oh, he's a good opener. But obviously, you need to be able to play in all conditions, and he's played in conditions which are seen as one of the tough conditions. But now, India is just as tough, if not tougher, for spin if you're not able to play spin properly. And Sibley doesn't seem to be comfortable in playing spin. He doesn't know whether he wants to go back or forward. Root is very decisive with that, so that's why he got out to Siraj in the first innings, not to spin, and they know that. So Sundar's just gone up in the air. Is there someone there? Running back, just drops over Anderson's shoulder, and they run two. So the aggression is there. The aggression is there. So let's see what happens. Really good stuff from. Yeah, Washington Sundar, he's just like, let's get a move on. To be honest with you, it's not a bad way to think at all at this stage now. They've got a lead and they want to get a quick lead. Dom Bess probably thinking he's been a bit unlucky there. It was there to be hit, Sundar just didn't get all of it, I think, I would say. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Is Washington Sundar. That's a full delivery from Dom Bess. No full tosses as of yet, so that's positive at least. And let's see how it goes. Really good stuff from him. Oh, that's better bowled. That's better bowled from Dom Bess. Really, really good stuff. Chantal says, I hope Bess gets one wicket before stumps. It will boost his confidence a lot. Yeah, that's true. I think it will. It would boost his confidence for sure. But whether he does or not is another thing, I think, isn't it? Let's have a look. That was good delivery from Bess. Folks looking into stump. Folks is a good keeper, a very good keeper. You can see his hands. He's all, as soon as he gets the ball, he's just looking straight away to go down. He's even off balance whilst he's doing it, and he just looks phenomenal behind the stumps. Just having a look and checking the replay, but I think he's well in. Not out. Yep, not out. Lead of 89 runs here. India 294 for 7. How many overs are remaining, man? When it's nearly 11:30. What's going on? How many overs left? Does anyone know? I'm not saying it on the broadcasting. Well, I can't hear because I'm not listening to the commentary. But normally they have at the bottom, like, whatever 5 overs left, or minimum 5 overs left, etc. The lead is 89 runs, and India 294 for 7 here. Nice 2.4 overs. Axar Patel is 11 of 28. Washington Sundar 60 of 115 balls even. This session, 30 overs, 141 runs, 1 wicket. Clearly India's session by a mile. And Dom Bess just trundling in for his last ball of the over. And yeah, I wonder how many How many more overs are we going to get? If anyone knows, let me know. Don Bess, again, that's better bowled. And they're appealing, but he's hit that. Eh? He's given out. Has he not just hit that? So Don Bess, the umpire's given it out. I don't think that's out. I think he's hit that. That's an interesting one. Let's have a look. So it's an appeal for LBW that was given out by the umpire. Let's have a look. Has he hit or did he miss it? Yeah, he's inside edged it onto his pads. That's a terrible decision. That's a terrible decision. I literally said he'd hit it straight away, and he has hit it. Why are they? Okay, let's have a look. All right. Yeah, he clearly hit the ball. It's an inside edge onto the pads. What is the? First of all, why are they appealing for it? Because they're clearly going to review it. Second of all, what is the umpire doing? That's a shocker. That's a clear inside edge. But even Washington Sundar was like, that's, yeah, I said it's inside edge. Look at me. I've umpired enough games in my time. I say enough. I mean, they're all kids' matches when I was coaching kids, to be fair. So Tart says, I think Benny might get 3-1. Yeah, I agree. So Tart says, no updates with the over. I'll let you know. Thank you very much. Yeah, Tom Best. Imagine if he hadn't appealed, if he hadn't reviewed that Washington Sundar, that would have been lucky as hell. But you can see it on the in real time. It looks like he's inside edged it. I mean, how else is there that much deviation after it's gone past the bat? Bizarre one. And he's like, yes, and I'm like, do you know what just happened? He's inside edge that. It's a big inside edge. Anyway, 294 for 7 off 93 overs. Local time's 4:59, which should mean 5 more overs. I have no idea. No idea. Not in the stadium. Jack Leach is back on, and I'm just thinking. Normally they do 10 to 11:30. I guess they have overs or 45 minutes to eat into, don't they? So let's see, 294 for 7 off 93 overs, and 294 for 7 of 93 overs. Jack Leach bowling pretty well. I think he's bowled pretty well this innings. I think it's tough to be super harsh on him. I thought he's bowled substantially well, let's say. Hasn't said the world alike, but he's bowled well, I think, is the right way to say it. We're in a stage of this game where India lead by 89 runs, and really they're going to try and score runs pretty quickly here, but they don't want to lose a wicket as well before stumps, so they're not going to be ultra aggressive. They'll probably not defend it out, but they'll think, why is Axar Patel's helmet look lopsided? That reminds me of Fakhar Zaman for Pakistan. His helmet is always wonky. Axar Patel's helmet's wonky as well. You think as elite cricketers they'd have straight helmets or put their helmet straight? It's bizarre. It's so funny. It just cracks me up so much. Look, it's nice to see crowds, isn't it? In Ahmedabad in the stadium. Good to see some crowds. It's padded that won't be out. Well, they're appealing for it, but that's definitely not out. Definitely not out. That's a very ambitious appeal, to say the least, from Jack Leach. It's 294 for 7. Axar Patel on strike and with his wonky helmet, but he can bat. You can tell. There you go. He's gone to straighten it, and he just made it even more wonky. It's crazy. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's definitely nowhere near. Nowhere near. That's a crazy appeal. Absolutely crazy appeal. Lead of 89 runs. They'll be looking to just see out the day. You know, I don't know. See out. Oh, here you go. Oh, looking for a stumping there. Almost bowled around his legs somehow. Should be interesting. What do people think of Ben Folks' gloves? Interesting, right? Also, Tark says stumps. So, Tark, are you at the stadium? Were you watching it? I know Charles was at the stadium when he was in, and it's 294 for 7. So, Tark is saying stumps. I'm thinking it's stumps. Is it stumps? Yeah, it stumps. England have had enough. They've been battered and bruised, and I think it stumps. Yeah, it is. It is India's day by an absolute country mile. I'm just going to update the scoreboard. Fantastic knocks by Rishabh Pant, who was just an absolute beast, wasn't he? Absolute beast. And what did he get? 101. Yeah, unbelievable knock from Rishabh Pant. Definitely India's day, to say the least. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough tomorrow for England, because India are going to come out. They're going to have a couple of overs where they'll just see off the ball, and they'll be like, "Sorry, mate, time to tee off." And that's exactly what's going to happen. So I reckon it's going to be very, very tough for England. You could call me pessimistic, but I think I'm just being realistic, to be honest with you. And you never know, though, because look, the one thing I would say is, and I always say this every single time, but it's so true, the first session of a day is so important. And if England can pick up early wickets in that first session, so if they can get Axel Patel and Washington Sundar, then yeah, like, you're laughing, because you're looking at it saying we can potentially restrict them to under 100. If not, then you're screwed. So let's see. It's 294 for 7 off 94 overs, and so Tart says, "Are you going to make a video on PSL being postponed?" Yeah, I've already made it. If you want to hear me ranting a little bit, so Tark, it should be, it's on my channel already. Let me have a look. Got my phone on me. Should be released. I did a live yesterday. It takes a little bit of time sometimes for the lives to process. I don't think you you weren't in the live from what I know anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's been processed. So let's have a look where it is. Did it yesterday. Yeah, it's called Breaking PSL Postponed. PSL 2021 in jeopardy after health concerns, etc., etc. It's 37 minutes, and it's me and I say a few other people in the chat, and we're discussing it. So yeah, I've definitely discussed it. So check it out. So I've gone into detail about it and why it's been postponed. And I'll probably be doing a video on the PSL so far. I don't know if we're going to get a continuation, but either way, I think it'll be nice to do a kind of. It'll probably be a live again, to be honest with you. I like doing lives where people can interact, and normally when it's a bit later in the day, UK time, you get more people on as well, and just discuss what's gone on in the PSL so far, the player or the tournament so far. You know some of the big moments, talking points, etc., etc. And then I think they're saying it might potentially start again in mid-July, but it's nothing definite. Anyway, back to the Test match. India stumps at day 2. I would say 65-35. I'll stick with that. 65-35 to India in terms of my win predictor. And England have got a chance if they can get early wickets tomorrow. But it's a big if. So let's see how it goes anyway. Guys, I'm going to go. I actually have to work, which is unbelievable. I know. Crazy stuff. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. And please remember to like this video. And if you're watching it after, please remember to like this video. And do leave a comment anyway. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And so Tuck says, "I'll check it out." And he says, "I saw you ranting yesterday on India versus Pakistan." Yeah, I hadn't. Well, I wasn't ranting about. I was more like, I just want them to play. And it's just ridiculous. And then in the chat, everyone was going crazy, like, if Pakistan are better, India are better. And I was just like, relax, everyone. It's cool. Like, it's cool. Cricket's the leveler. Like, it's fine. I had a rant about one of the guys said that the IPL. What did they say? They said the IPL is better standard than T20 international matches. I was like, nah, don't even start. That was that. I ranted about that because that was just crazy. I was just like, please don't say that. I was like, because in my opinion, like, you've got domestic cricket, franchise cricket, international cricket. In my opinion, unless you're an associate nation, which if anyone's watching from an associate nation, I apologize, but some of the franchises, like the skill level, will be slightly higher than some of the associate. They will be higher than associate nations to a degree, but that needs to change. As long as associate nations get more exposure, they'll be able to, I think, bridge that gap as well. But we'll see. Anyway, cool. Thanks very much, everyone. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I think everyone in the chat or everyone who will watch this probably has done. Please do like the video, and I'll be doing a day review later today, probably around 5 o'clock GMT UK time, for the day where we can discuss it more in detail. Cool. Thank you very much.